make you so special? Why did he bless you? Think about it. I woke up this morning. Got a smile when I say that shit. I woke up this morning.
All right, cool. So we are live.
Hello, brother.
We are live with Collin Wynn for another episode.
Thank you for having me, brother. It's good to be here.
You're one of the first people I've asked on for like another time.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I was on here.
First returning guest.
Yes, sir.
One of them.
Yes, sir. Yeah, dude. I was on here, like, I don't know, like 4 months ago, maybe, you think?
Something like that,
Something like that. Yeah, bro. It was a great time.
Episode 40, so it's
yes,
been,
sir.
This is 78, so it's been, 38 episodes since then.
Yeah, I know. Great times.
We were talking before the podcast. We've been hanging out for like 2-3 hours now.
Yeah, dude. We've been chilling for a while, bro. Yeah, good convos. So
absolutely.
Pretty spontaneous.
We were kind of talking about like the idea of like everything is subjective and like your like perception of that, and you can kind of like label something good or bad because everything kind of is relative.
Yeah, dude. That's kind of the one thing we were talking about. Like for people who don't know, we were saying that like your outcome in any situation is like kind of mostly determined on, I mean, obviously your effort sometimes, but your belief too, like, because the belief kind of initiates like the action. It's like the catalyst. It's like the cause of the effect a lot of times. Because I mean, a lot of people even, they don't realize that like their thoughts do influence them a lot somehow. You know, if you're thinking like bad thoughts, bro, like you can't imagine like good things are going to come to you from those thoughts, you know?
Right.
You might get lucky and people might still be nice to you, but that's not because that's just because they're nice, you know?
True.
Because that could, what we were talking about, I mean, it's...
And a lot of negative thoughts are very self-defeating, so they're not going to lead to, like, positive action either.
Exactly, dude.
True.
Like, they destroy the situation before it can get the feet off the ground. Like, people who don't, if your perception's in a bad state of mind or some of that nature. So, yeah, your perception really is everything, bro.
Absolutely.
It really is, dude. I mean, I think if you go into situations... Most of the time, I think people, they think... problems are objective, which means that it's like a law. It's like they can't do anything about it. This is the way it is. It's bad. It really is. Like, that wall's black. Like, if somebody says that's white, and they really believe that, bro, like, it's not, but it's not white. But if they truly believe it, they're going to think that it's white. So it's going to influence them in that, their beliefs can influence them in that way. But, like, that's what most people, I think, have a belief a lot of times that is skewed, but they think it's right. So it's kind of like trying to fit a freaking square in a circle, dude.
Yeah,
you know, like you're making a shoe not fit.
Which is why it's so important to be able to think objectively. Like that's a skill. That's a skill
really is,
that you
bro.
can like get better at even.
Oh, 100%, man. Yeah, like I think to look at things like really how they are, not how like. I think when you start to look at things you look at things how they are, objectively, and that's also like what you truly do believe and what you look at. Then I think you can. Yeah, you're right on track, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when your mindset becomes what things really are, and a lot of times what they really are is like kind of what you think them to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
but sometimes it like do you think some people make up lies about their perception of things because it's like a coping or like defense mechanism or something?
Yeah, bro. I think like people would definitely like make stuff up to kind of protect themselves.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like to kind of like almost like a callus on a wound, like kind of just prolong it, not heal it, but prolong it. Not callus on a wound, that's not the best example, but yeah, I think sometimes people will lie to themselves, like, I don't know, say you're addicted to meth, like, and you don't think it, you don't want to, you know it's bad deep inside, but you don't want to admit that to yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that's what, like, kind of a good example is, like, people hide themselves from the truth.
Or cigarettes. Cigarettes are a great example as well.
A lot of people hide themselves from the truth because they know the truth will hurt them. So, yeah, I mean...
True.
You know? So
or they just don't want to give up that thing they really like. So they're willing to tolerate, like, the bad things and the negatives about it and overlook those negatives to, like, justify it to themselves.
Oh, 100%, bro. No, I agree, man. Yeah. It's weird how people will manipulate, like, their own mind to complete, like, their own agenda.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It went, like, most of the time that
politics
agenda...
are a great example.
Great example, bro. Like, most of the politicians will, like, go after, like, you know, the other candidate on an issue that they blow up to actually seem like it's an objective issue, but it's not. Like, for example, like, I don't know, let's say you're going after your opponent because... I was watching the West Virginia debate, and this guy was going after this one guy because of something in his past that had nothing to do with politics or like affect. It wasn't like a bad thing. I think it was like something to do with like some type of, I don't know, violation of some sort, but like it didn't objectively affect the race, like, or like anything to do with his character or anything of that nature to like where it would affect his moral decisions. And I forgot exactly what it was that pissed me off, bro. It was in the West Virginia, like I think it was a Senate race or something. It just happened like a couple months ago. Right. I don't know the guy's name. I think one of them was like Don Blankenship or something like that. But yeah, it's something that like objectively didn't affect the race and or his moral character. So that's why I was like, hey, some people, they go after people for like things that actually they don't affect the situation, but it'll help them leverage themselves.
Yeah,
you know, like it'll help you like upheaval, get you to like a certain point, but not because like because you're putting somebody down in a way that you might think work. But, you know, I mean, that's why everybody's got to think for themselves, bro.
I would hate to be in a job that tears people down. Like, that's part of your job is because that's really what they're trying to do, going back to perceptions. They're trying to alter the public's perception of that person and make it more negative. Like, like, if I'm not doing something where I build myself and other people up, then I don't want to do it.
100%, bro. No, I agree, man. Like, that's what it comes down to, too, because, like, I guess, like, everything comes down to kind of whether you like it or not, like your ultimate goal. Like, because I mean, there's a lot of people, like even me sometimes, like I have goals, but I don't always work to compete them. And I'm saying that's right, but like that still has an effect on me and my decisions, even like kind of subconsciously. Like, I don't know. I mean, even things that you might not think affect you sometimes do. So
that's a good point. Like, so
people don't recognize their thoughts, but they don't realize that their thoughts always affect them. But you're not going to feel a certain way just because like the universe is like, yeah, we want this guy to feel shitty. Everything I think is a law, kind of. Like, if you throw a ball up, that shit's going to come down for sure because there's gravity. Unless somebody takes, like, gravity away, and it can't make that effect. Or there's wind blowing, which is a different source.
Right.
So, like, it's always going to happen unless something's intervening with it. Like, if I was pushing this table and had nothing to stop it forever, and I kept doing it, it would just keep going. Right. Unless, like, you came in and pushed it the other way. So, like, I think we have, like, because of that, like, metaphor kind of, we always have an ability to, like, I don't think control everything, but we can control our outlook, and if we do that, then, like, we see what life or what it really is, and then we can control it by, like, controlling our thoughts and choices. Yeah. But it becomes easier when you, to, like, really be, like, alkaline with life, like, meditate, pray, like, things of that nature, whatever works for you, really, to get to that point. But, like, definitely the universe is rewarding to people who do, like, in a sense, work to cultivate their spirit. You know what I mean?
What do you mean by cultivate your spirit?
Like, the work to, like, grow in your spirit and, like, truly work to, like, build their spirit up. Like, and that's kind of, bro, like, just your character. Okay. You know? Okay. So, yeah, bro. So, yeah.
I don't even have anything to say to that, but well, actually,
I don't know. I mean, you kind of got to be faithful. You kind of got to believe in that, too, because, like a situation kind of is based on belief a lot of times too. Like, in part of it is based on your belief level, because the belief level that you have, like, it can be controlled.
So which of those beliefs are holding you back, and which of those beliefs are pushing you forward? Because I bet everybody has a mixture of both.
Oh, for sure.
If you really like psychoanalyze somebody, they probably have a lot of limiting beliefs at the same time.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, for sure, bro.
You're totally right.
I think that's what, like, people don't realize too, is like they don't realize when they're like looking through their mind, they don't want to admit to, like, if they are having negative thoughts, because they don't want to look at it. I don't know. So a lot of people don't look at their life in, like, if you aren't mental honest, way.
If you're not honest and objective and don't, like, identify those negative thoughts, they're going to create habits within you.
Oh yeah, dude. You have to identify. Like, I think the key, like, to like self-realization is, like, just it's self-awareness. Like, the key to, like, I guess having a stress-free life is realization, in a sense. I mean, it's about, like, a constant realization with yourself. Like, a constant, like, looking at what was already most of the time there, but just taking the veil off of it. Because most of the things that we realize in life were always already there. Always, a lot of times, were, like, coming. We always have the possibility to, like, grow with ourselves, get in a connection with, like, God, or whatever people view in their beliefs as God, or, you know, in that. But I think you always have the ability to, like, to control a situation, bro. So
absolutely, yeah, and that's really, really important to remind yourself of.
Oh, 100%, dude. No, 100%.
You're in control, because then ultimately, if you're in control of those situations, how you react, how you think, how you interpret it, like, if you realize you're in control of all of that, then you're in control of your life.
Oh yeah, dude. And it always comes down to, like, I don't know, like, realization, dude. Like, you're self-aware. I don't know. Like, even with myself, bro, like, I'm no, like, I don't know much, bro, but all I know that, like, if I think good and positively and believe in that, like, I think good things will come from that. I think if I have the ability to, like, even choose to do that, then I can choose to do whatever I want, dude. Like, it's a constant, like, like, once you uncover the field with one thing, you uncover another.
What you can't control.
Yeah, dude.
Can you identify, like that's a skill in itself. Like,
it is, bro.
Like, some people think that they're completely powerless in a lot of situations, which, like, if you really think about it, most situations, I mean, yeah, like it will be able to differentiate the difference between what you can and can't control, and almost like classify the two. Like, okay, that's out of my control. So what do you have to do? You have to accept it. I mean, because then if you create resistance in yourself to that truth that you can't control, that just is what it is. Like, I think, me personally, that's why I don't have any interest in, like, politics, because I just think a lot of it's out of my control. Regardless if we do live in a democratic society, like, a lot of it's out of your control. So that's just my personal take. I'm not saying that's how everybody should think.
Yeah, dude. But, I agree, bro.
But to be able to differentiate what is in your control as well, so that you can change it. Because, I mean, then you have a lot more choices. But
I agree, bro. No, it's a great way to look at it, dude. Like, yeah, that's kind of the cherry on top for all of it. Because, like, I think when you believe that you are limitless, if you do believe that, you kind of are, because it's what you're believing.
Yeah.
And, like, it's like your mind's like a giant search engine, kind of, bro. Like, you get what you put in. Like, if you put in Google, like, the definition for, like, I don't know, flabbergasted, it'll give you the definition for flabbergasted.
Right.
The mind is kind of similar, bro. Like, you reap what you sow, dude.
Absolutely.
So, like, you, like, kind of, you know, if you plant an evergreen seed in the ground, you cultivate that, it's going to grow up as an evergreen seed, you know, objectively. So that's kind of the way the mind works, dude. Like, and that's kind of a metaphorical connection we have to, like, the universe, bro, in a sense. So, yeah, dude, no, I 100% agree with you, bro. Like, I think your belief level has a lot to do with, like, what your life actually is. And what your life actually is has a lot to do with your, like, belief level, too. Like, they go hand in hand, you know what I mean? Because some people's life, I mean, everybody's lives is different, and because of that, it affects them differently. But also, your thoughts, you can control, and a lot of times, and a lot of people just don't believe they can control that. And, dude, it's not easy. I think it's just not about always true. If you gotta, you know, get to a point of, like, enlightenment. I mean, dude, I can't always control my thoughts, but I can control, like, not to let them affect me a lot of times. Like, if you have everybody's had weird thoughts, bro, like, stupid shit, like, what the fuck? I didn't even try to think of that, like, and it came in my brain, and, dude, like, the key is just not letting it always affect you, like, being, like, just to, like, watch it blow in the wind, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, that is, like, to be able to, you know, a lot of that time is just acceptance.
Yeah,
it's just being able to fully accept what is.
Oh, dude, for sure.
So let me challenge you on this. So going off of that, do you think you're able to control your own insecurity? Because that, I mean, ultimately, what is insecurity? It's you thinking about yourself, not in a positive light. So, I mean, you can sometimes you can't control people talking negatively about you, or about I don't know, maybe sometimes people can't control their weight or acne on your face, or I don't know, there are a lot of things you can't control that might contribute to, like, your insecurity. Yeah, but ultimately, you can control if you can accept those things about yourself and still love yourself. So doesn't that have a lot to do with like, I guess you can control, to answer my own question, I guess you can control your own insecurity. Like, if you respond to be, or if you choose to be insecure in response to, like, people talking bad about you or whatever it is.
Bro, yeah, like, when you realize that, like, insecurities, bro, we all, like, have them. It's all about, like, what you perceive to be an insecurity.
True.
Bro, because, like, if you had an insecurity, like, I don't know, acne or something. Bro, we all get acne, but, like, say you had, like, what you thought was really bad acne, but a lot of times, bro, because that's your own life, you pay way more attention to it, but I don't even care. Like, I don't recognize that. I don't know, because I have my own insecurities and my own sense that I'm focused on. So most of the time, people around you aren't even, like, really caring about what, like, if you have the things that you're caring about, the small shit, that affect you in a big way, in a negative way a lot of times, because you believe them, but they aren't actually true.
Right.
So they affect you, but they aren't, like, true. Like, they're not actually happening. Like, people aren't thinking of you that way. And even if they were, you can either, one, if somebody's thinking negative about you, like, really negative, and saying, half the time they don't even fucking know you, bro. We're a culmination of, like, a bunch of different feelings at all times. We make mistakes. We're not the people we were in the past a lot. and people instantly judge, and that hurts them too as well, bro.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
judging is a loss.
It really is its own loss, bro. But we all have our own insecurities, but it's all about what we perceive those insecurities to be. But yeah, you can, if somebody's like really, if somebody's judging you on a certain behalf, you could either take that and look at yourself and be like, yo, they're judging me for something. Like, maybe I need to wake up and maybe you're being obnoxious. That's a good reason to, like, if you're being obnoxious, you shouldn't be that way. So if somebody's judging you for that, like, you're doing wrong. But most of the time what it is, it's most people aren't actually being, like, obnoxious or disrespectful. Sometimes they are, but, like, a lot of times they think they are, or, like, not obnoxious or disrespectful, but, like, they think something people are thinking of them, like, in public, really negative, or, like, and then they get, like, depressed or anxiety filled or something, when most people actually aren't, like, or don't think the way that people think of them if it's negative. So that was super confusing the way I worded that, bro.
I lost you on the last part. Can you explain the last part one more time?
Yeah, dude, yeah, no, so I was saying a lot of times people think, like, people are thinking really bad of them or something when they actually aren't. But, when they are, like, if people are, like me, if somebody was, being screaming in here, or something, like screaming in a restaurant, like being crazy, you'd be like, yo, dude, you need to calm down. But they might be like, oh, screw you, I'm not doing anything wrong. But,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Good point.
Like, but they actually are. They don't perceive it to be wrong, what I'm saying. But a lot of people are like, even me sometimes, I'll be like, I don't know, maybe this person thinks, not even trying to, like, just kind of habitually, like, think negative and, like, catch myself. And I'm like, shit, bro, like, that's actually not going on. Like, I don't know, saying somebody's, like, I don't know, doesn't like me. I don't really fucking care about that anyway, because, I mean, I know I'm a cool guy, but...
Or doesn't like an aspect of me.
An aspect of me or something like that. And then I'm, like, letting it get to me or something of that nature or something. But then I realize, yo, bro, like, unless that's actually, like, something I need to change to be good, better or something like that, and I look at it that way and I'm like, no, dude, like, that's not actually something bad. They're thinking wrong. But if I never saw it that way, like, if I never corrected myself, a lot of people just believe and they're like, oh shit, unconfident, and they let it get to them and stuff.
Yeah.
But it never helps them, dude. But what they want is help.
True.
Like, they want to feel better, like most people, but they think negatively and keep giving into that stupid shit. Me too, bro. Like, I think negatively a lot of times, but, like, I know that if... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And there's, like, chemical imbalances in brains. Like, I know that, too, and that's a really, like, more intricate side of things. But, like, I think everybody can help themselves a little by just thinking more positive, bro.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, undeniable. Undeniable.
For sure, dude.
Kind of the two parallel opposites are, like, the people who... All right, so person A over here, maybe they wear... I don't know, a certain type of shorts that are too short or something, and they're like insecure about like everybody's looking how short my shorts are.
Yeah, bro.
But really,
stuff like that,
nobody's thinking about it at all.
Nobody is, dude.
And then there's the other person that they aren't thinking about it, or that like they aren't thinking about any insecurities, and then somebody judges them, and they're like, well, I don't care because I'm not insecure about that.
That's what I'm saying.
Those are kind of the parallel opposites.
It is, dude. It's always up. Like, what it comes down to in both situations, like, if somebody, is actually insecure about something that people really do think weird of them you can either say, one, like, you're wrong and I'm not, like, doing something to make you think me insecure of, or two, I have a right to be insecure because I need to change something, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, like, there's a weird paradox, but in the end it always comes down to, like, what that person really wants to believe.
And what they want out of life.
And I think a lot of people don't realize they're given, like, a vibe of, like, wanting, like, bad vibes to connect with them. Like, that's why most people are like, even me sometimes, bro, like, I'll get in a habit and I'll be, like, depressed or anxious for some reason. I'm like, why am I like this? And I'll be like, I'm probably thinking, like, of some weird shit. And sometimes, dude, there's shit going on in your life, too, that you can't control that really does affect you.
Yeah.
And that is a big influence, too. We can't count that out. But most of the time, I think everybody can have a choice in somewhat to help themselves. Just think positively, bro. Like, and that's very basic in terms, but it entails so much.
You have a choice if you want to respond to those emotions that you're feeling, too.
You always have a choice, but, like, you have to recognize you do have a choice to, like, actually initiate that. You know what I mean?
Like, if somebody, I don't know, say my grandma died tomorrow, like, like, I could respond in, like, a myriad of ways. I could be, like, powerless and be like, oh, she's gone forever, this is terrible, or I could be like, well, I'm happy that I get to spend time with her at all. Like, there's just so many ways to respond, which is why, well, death's another topic. Everybody deals with death, like, differently, I feel like, but...
Yeah, for sure, dude, and different emotions, bro. Like, you might be like that one day, and then another way. It's a big journey with a lot of things.
True.
So, But yeah, man, it's all about how you can really respond to things, bro.
Which is always a choice.
And it's like, goes back to perception. It's kind of one and the same. It's like those Russian dolls. Like, you have a big one, and then you have like a smaller one in it. So like,
I thought those are Asian for some reason. Yeah, those are Russian. Okay.
But yeah, bro. Yeah, that's the kind of like, once you uncover one, you get to another and another and another, and it just keeps evolving, like with everything in life. But it's always kind of one and the same too. You know,
so wait, are you referring to the Russian dolls
as like
building off of it?
Yeah, like a metaphor, kind of like a symbolism for like what we were just talking about. Like first of all, when you uncover like one thing in life is always kind of connected to another. So like I don't know, like we were just talking about like how like insecurities come from, you know, belief. So insecurity, they kind of, it's like a root, you know, it's like it all comes back to one.
Connected to self-confidence.
Yeah. And then like also the Russian dolls thing, like it's kind of also thought like everything you learn, you uncover another aspect of something else.
Okay.
So it's like the more you learn, the more you don't know, in a sense. Because the more you learn, you uncover shit about like, oh, that opens another question up. So
this is actually a question that I saw recently on here. But
okay, bro.
So do you think the philosophy, like if you were to study philosophy, because I consider you a pretty philosophical guy.
Thanks, man. Dude, I'm not that philosophical, but thank you, bro.
But but
thank you, man.
So whenever you get into philosophy and like kind of start to explore it, does it leave you with more questions or more answers?
I don't know. I think you get answers, but you also get more questions too, because those answers a lot of times uncover like new worlds of info that you never even knew before. Like you got to like start a new like page in this chapter of information, you know? So I kind of think it's both, bro. Like I don't think it's more like numerical. I don't think it's like numerical, like more of what and what, but like I think it's just you get a lot of answers,
because that answer might lead you to another question, which might lead you, or like
a lot of times that's the case.
Or with one question might lead you to like 6 new questions.
Yeah, exactly, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not like as numerical as it is like philosophical, I'd say, in a sense that like it's almost like these. In life itself, like, I don't know, say physics, like, we don't know a lot about where we come from.
Right.
Like, in literal terms of, like, where do humans survive? Why are we really, really here? Like, in terms, like, we know with ourselves, but, like, higher connections, you know, astronomy, all that, fucking aliens, I don't know. But, like, there's so many questions. There's so many questions. And really, there's so many answers out there that haven't been answered yet, but
true.
I mean, when you get to like
a lot of theoretical answers too.
If we even knew those answers, that's what I'm saying. Those would lead to certain questions, because how did those get there? Based on that, it's like constantly taking the root back to the tree,
right?
You know, or the tree down to the roots. So yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, actually, here,
bro.
This is kind of interesting because I was thinking about this literally right before the podcast. Oh wow! I totally okay. Yeah, I remember the question anyway. What do you think the world would be like without dogs?
Oh, dude, it'd be shit, bro.
Like think about how much humanity benefits from dogs, because they're kind of like I've when we were talking about Joe Rogan before the podcast, one of his favorite guests that he has on is Duncan Trussell. Like I love that dude.
Duncan Trussell, you said? Really? You know him? No, I do not, dude. I think I've heard the name before, but I've never
worth looking into.
I've never like really looked into his stuff, dude.
Okay, but yeah, he has like his own podcast, but. He described dogs in a podcast one time as portals of love.
They really are.
I love that comparison, because it's like whenever you're playing with a dog and just loving it, like you get something like mentally, like whether it just be a neurotransmitter, or whether I'm just receiving a ton of serotonin and dopamine from like the experience, but. Like, yeah, I definitely get something from it. Like, everybody does.
100%, bro. No, I totally agree with you, dude. That kind of is a great like symbolism for life too. Like, you find out that. Really, the greatest happiness the greatest form of happiness is literally things that do not have anything to do with like money or like substance to yourself. Because there was a philosopher who said like all pain comes from selfishness, and like when you really think of all like what pain derives from, like why you feel something, you kind of right in a sense if you bring it back. Maybe you might not see it on like the face value, that phrase, but it makes sense. Because it does. Like, dude, the greatest things in life come from, like, giving. Like, literally, like, some of the greatest happiness that humans can have, I think, come from giving. Like, in some type of sense. And I think with dogs, bro, it's like they give to us, but we also give to them. I mean, we don't look for anything in return, bro. Like in that situation, like they can't give us money, but they give us love and like affection, and that's all we really want. I mean,
it feels better.
Like, yeah, because that's what money pays for. Usually, like if you buy a dope car or something, bro, like it's gonna give you a sweet feeling, and that's what you pay for. Because if you have that dope car, but you were always depressed on it, the car wouldn't be worth shit.
Yeah, nothing.
Because it doesn't help you. It doesn't give you a feeling. Like it doesn't give you like what you're looking for. So. Yeah, I mean, people, the real money is feeling, I think, bro.
This kind of goes back to, like, I think this is a Buddhist belief, but, like, the end of all suffering is no desire.
No desire, because it's a
constant.
It's, dude, 100%, bro.
If you're satisfied with everything you have, how could you ever be upset?
Totally, bro, because it's easier said than done. And that goes back to life as a perception, bro. Because it's not about what you objectively have. You'll find some of the happiest people are people who do not have anything, like in economically poor countries.
Sure.
So some of the people that don't have anything are some literally the most happy. It's because their happiness is in line with what happiness is supposed to be. It's a reward for doing what humans are put here to do, which is literally like being less involved in like stupid finance and, you know, cultivating like selfishness and like, you know, growing stuff that really isn't making you happy, like in the world. Yeah, materialism, yeah, dude. Like that isn't making you happy, but you keep doing it because you think it will. It's the craziest thing, bro. It's like treading water. It's like, oh yeah, but not knowing it. But like you're treading water, you're not going anywhere. A lot of times the opposite. It's treading water, but it's putting you backwards. But that's why they're the happiest people.
Do you know what
they're getting rewarded?
Sorry,
I think. Oh, you're good, bro. No, that's my bad. I'm talking a lot, but yeah, they're getting rewarded for like things they're doing good. That's why they're happy.
Right.
But they have nothing. So like, you know, people in, you know, I don't know, like a poor tribe in Africa or something, they're happy as heck.
So I would love to experience poverty for that exact reason.
Yeah, dude. A lot of them are so giving too, more giving, and that's like the biggest paradox of all time. You know?
Yeah.
Like the biggest opposite.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, bro. So that just shows you that like it really is happiness is I think temporarily, I think you can be like happy by like material pleasure, but eventually we're not supposed to be like that. We're not wired. Humans aren't wired our whole life to go through like being a selfish human. Like it's not like that.
Yeah,
we're not like supposed to be that way. So there's always, if people are living in that lifestyle, there's always going to be dissonance, which means like opposites kind of battling each other. Like,
so you're referring to like the Western civilization kind of like lifestyle?
Yeah, dude, I just think a lot of times, yeah, bro, like I think true happiness, bro, and like it's way easier said than done because I don't even do this half the time, bro. But I at least try to recognize it as true, is that like happiness itself and the highest form that we can possibly have, which is what we're always looking for in most people, is attributed by like getting in tune with yourself in the universe in some type of way, but always treating people, no matter what you feel to do, always being like self-aware enough to like treat people with respect, kindness, and rationality. Like to still think for yourself and rationally, don't get bullied around.
Yeah.
But like to look at things like before you go off on somebody, you know, for something or something that you might have before, like realize that in that second, every second, just be like, that would never work good for, you know, like giving into emotion that you always regret. It never works good. It always results in regret. But yeah, that's it.
Or doubling down on that emotion.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's the worst. Like somebody gets angry and then they're like, they don't want to. It's like that's an ego thing for sure. Like no, I don't want to. I was right. Like I was right for getting angry at them, and then they got to double down on their actions so they don't look wrong. And then that's running from the truth again.
It is, dude.
So that they can perceive themselves in a positive light still, instead of just facing the truth then and there.
100%, bro. No, I totally agree with you, man. Totally agree. I think you got. Oh, sorry, man. I didn't mean to cut you off. But I was just say, going on to that, dude. Like, most people, I think, always in one way or another, the truth is within you. And like, I'm not saying all like the secrets to the universe, but I'm saying everyone's looking to feel happy and feel good, righteously so, just by being even like somebody might, you know, like just by sitting, just being happy, like being like, this is good. But like what you said is back to what you said was earlier, was that like all happiness comes from having no desire. And a lot of happiness comes from desire, but a lot of it also does kind of come from when you are like happy with where you are right now. So like, not that you shouldn't have goals, because you should be desired to have goals. But I think what that philosopher is referring to with no desire is like people always wanting something, like because they think it has something to do with their happiness. Like, you should be happy regardless and still strive to work for something that you believe in. Right. Because that'll make you happy. But it's not depending on that, like, for a fact to make you happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because that shows the power that we all have in choice, dude. Because if we can think in our life, because our lives are supposed to be happy, bro. Like, we're not going to be put here to be miserable and happy. Might as well not exist, you know what I mean? So the thing is, it's like, we might
really,
as well.
What is the point, really?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not enjoying this experience.
And we do have a choice. We have a choice in that, like, happiness, bro. So that's the thing, dude. I mean, we're here to be happy, but a lot of us are living miserably. But we have a say in that, dude. We have a say in that, bro. Like,
a lot of the points you're making kind of allude back to the fact of, like, being satisfied is a very key element of being happy.
It is, dude.
It really is.
It is a part of the process. But usually, satisfaction comes after, like, you know, doing something, I don't know, like a hedonistic act, which means like a self-pleasuring act, I don't know, some sort that eventually results in, like, regret or something. I don't know, if you stole something from someone, say that. Like, you might instantly be like, oh, yeah, dude, I got like $40. But eventually, bro, like, I think at some time in your life, bro, like, or at some time, there has to be, for you not to be like a psychopath, if you do something wrong, stealing, I mean, like murder or something like that, you have to feel like remorse or something of that. But then again, people, like, if you murder someone, you wouldn't even do that a lot of times. But beforehand, if you had, you know, I mean, if you were rational. But, like,
everything's relative, though, at the same time.
It is relative,
sometimes
too.
It's insane what people will do when they can justify something.
It is.
Like,
they may all about
as a
telling
positive,
themselves.
like, oh, the world's a better place without them. So, like, that's a positive thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, even the United States government does
bro.
it, too.
It's crazy. It's amazing how people will lie to themselves to justify it. Or even, sometimes they don't even lie. Sometimes they don't even lie, dude. Like, they're literally like, yeah, I did that. And they just don't. Even some of them will be like, yeah, it's bad. They just don't care. Some people are like that wow. Crazy with things. I mean, they just don't care, and they recognize it as bad and still do it.
That's interesting. Wow,
but yeah, but still, either way, I mean, there's a wire loose for sure, bro. Like, they're not like normal humans, people that don't have remorse and stuff. But it's part of the human thing, and actually helps us to have remorse, because when we do something wrong, it helps us be more self-aware and grow into like a more intellectual.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
species almost.
Remorse is important for the same reason reflection is important.
Yeah, dude.
It's important to reflect on your actions because you can learn from the past.
For sure, bro. Dude,
absolutely.
Like, dude, it's definitely in that definitely, because I think your past affects your now, and your now affects your future.
Yeah,
It really does, bro. Because if you were to, like, I mean, not look at the past, like, I don't know, you could lie to yourself too and say, like, your past was different than it really was, and you'd partially be influenced by those lies. In your brain.
Yeah.
Like, if you really believe them, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I did, I don't know, you had like you're really depressed because you didn't do anything, and you really didn't do anything, but you lied to yourself and was like, oh, dude, I'm really successful and stuff. You might believe you won't be super successful, but if you really believe it, you might feel like you are.
Makes you wonder,
you know what I mean? Like, there's psycho people who lie to themselves and truly believe, like, they lie to themselves, but they believe it, and vice versa, like, you know, I mean, there could be people who are really depressed, when they should be as happy as ever, bro.
Just for existing.
That's what I'm saying.
The fact of being here, yeah.
And then there's people like, I don't know, say me and you had somebody that, like, was the same exact as us. Same exact. I'm saying, like, had the same financial outcome, same house, same job, same everything. Okay. So they should be, like, same as happy as us, but they're probably going to be some type of, I mean. Something they could either be really happy or really depressed or really, like, right where we're at, if that's in the middle somewhere. But that just shows you that, like, that just shows you that happiness is not objective. They're still probably going to feel different because they view the world in a different way.
Dude, really?
Still, even though, you know, I mean, we do the same type, even if we did the same things, they would still view it differently.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but, like, if you see somebody, maybe you're going through the same exact life experience with somebody, and somebody else is choosing to be, like, super negative, and other people are choosing to be super positive. This is something I need to work on in myself. I mean, that just shows you how much of it is perception. But on another topic, this is something I need to work on in myself with school. Because I built up over the years, it's like an accumulated habit that I've built up so much resistance, which creates, like, unhappiness and, like dissatisfaction with my current circumstances. because I don't like school that much.
Yeah,
but
I know what you mean.
I had a friend the other night. Like I pretty much I made a comment about school and then putting it in a negative light, and he really like. It's wild how much this like changed. Just and I'm not this way in every class, but like I am a lot of the time, like more than I should be, And I made a comment how like I didn't like school, and my buddy's like, oh yeah, he's like, oh, just going through the motions. Oh, I hate my life or something like that, like making fun of people like that. It was like criticism, like making fun of that philosophy and that outlook that I have. But I was like, wow, like in that moment, whenever he was able to laugh at like my problems like that, I was like, yeah, he's right. Like, yeah, he's totally right.
Because he's being sarcastic, saying like it's all made up, bro.
Like how dumb that is.
How dumb it is.
Like he was literally making fun of my actions, and I just accepted that I was wrong, and like
that's a great outlook too, bro.
Dude,
like,
it was so refreshing.
Like you're just joking around, but like obviously like still for you to even like. Take the criticism. In a sense, it was criticism, I guess. But like, still, you looked at it and you learned something from it. Like,
yeah.
Like, and you're like, oh, dang, dude. Like, that's a great outlook on the world too. Like, being open like that.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I agree. To kind of
open to being wrong.
Open to being wrong, exactly, bro. And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, bro. It's like it isn't what the situation is, because all the situation is what you view it as. Because it's all about how usually something affects everybody maybe in the same way, but also different ways too.
Yeah.
So, like if somebody passes away, everybody's going to be sad, but a different level of sad. So, not everybody. I mean, everybody's different, but if people knew that person, they'd be sad. Normally, righteously so, but in different levels of sad. So, I think a lot of times people's situations aren't what actually are, but it's how they perceive them to be.
Absolutely.
Because in those situations, like back to like that person passing away, it isn't what it is, because the situation would be in that situation, she just passed away. Somebody close to you passed away. And then, people righteously
and everybody
sad and mourn
is having a different response.
A different response is what I'm saying. But it's all based on their perceptions and their beliefs, bro. So that's what I was going back to. Like, it is all perception based. Like, everybody responds differently because of their perception. It's perception is so many different things because it's influenced by past, habit, human emotions.
This is why it's always subjective.
It is.
Always, do you think anybody is capable
journey, bro.
of viewing the world
it's hard.
100% objectively? Is that even
it's
a thing?
So
is there
hard.
a human on this earth that views everything objectively?
I think,
or even 99%.
I think it's almost impossible to be like that at all times, because I feel like what the word objectively is something that we can like universally all tune into, but it's constantly evolving, because what you view maybe the word objectively at one moment might be like objective. As you progress, I don't know, say you're like in a deep state of meditation or something, and as you consistently meditate over months and months, you grow as a person. Maybe what you thought a month ago, you were like, oh, this is amazing. I think I'm seeing like, what life really is. Maybe a month later, you enlighten yourself more and you're like, wow, objectivity, it is always evolving, really.
Yeah.
But it is like I'm saying, like, I think it goes down to all your goals, bro. Like if you're trying to be a bad person, objectiveness might be different to you because your objective is to like do bad things.
Do you think anybody really wants to be a bad person?
I don't think it's it's not supposed to happen. I think like I don't think anybody, I don't know, dude, because people can control whatever they want to in their brain.
Well, like ISIS, for example, they probably think they're doing it for a good cause,
Yeah, dude. I don't know, bro. Like, because a good cause to them, like what me and you resonate as a good cause, it's like a good cause, like doing good human things,
maybe like
charity work or something, like
something charitable,
something like that. But like, what they're doing is a bad cause. But if they view it as like it makes them feel good, they might think it's a good cause because it makes them feel good. But really, what they think makes them, I guess, feel good by doing that isn't better than what the feeling they would have if they did stuff that was good.
Right.
So they think it's a good feeling, but they haven't tasted really like what a good feeling is, or else they wouldn't be doing that bad stuff.
Maybe they see cutting, like for example, I don't know if this has even happened, but I'm assuming so. But say they see cutting off an American's head, like a beheading video on live TV. They see that as like a positive thing, or like for a good cause.
Yeah, bro.
So maybe they've been able to justify this terrible. When you look at it objectively, like
I mean, they're sick, like psychopathic people.
But they think they're doing it for a good cause. Like maybe their actions, they might even say that like what they're doing is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, bro.
But,
I mean, it's a weird situation. Like the human like mind is so intricate, bro. Because like I found out that like the same road to happiness is really the same road to. The same road to happiness is really the same road to failure, because you can control your happiness in the same way that you control like your unhappiness. It's all like a form of thought. It's all like a form of different beliefs that are constantly evolving. But
a lot of our habits, a lot of the thoughts and beliefs and opinions that you hold, or sometimes even convictions. Like
it is habits too, dude. Like that is a big thing. Like because habits are the thing that. In some time, like, if you have a good habit that you've done for so long, that is great. Like, habits, that will release you from other maybe bad habits.
Right.
So if you get a good habit, it can free a million bad habits. But if you get a bad habit, too, it can you know, get rid of a million good habits, dude. So,
yeah, true.
If you let it, but then it goes all about, like, I think...
Or create a lot of, like,
so
cognitive dissonance, like you were saying earlier.
Cognitive dissonance, bro, yeah. No, like, I just like talking about this, like, on an intricate level, like, spontaneously, too, bro, because we don't, like, not looking at shit. We're just talking, like, off the top of our heads. Right. Not trying to watch every word we say. And that's, I think, like, people who are watching this this long. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I just hope people can look at people in a different way, because life isn't supposed to be about, you know, specifically talking so good, watching every word I say and making sure that, you know, people don't judge me because I screw up one word. Dude. It's all about, like, the message, the journey, bro. We all make mistakes, and that's what it comes down to is, like, a lot of times, too, going back to insecurities, I'll think, like, I'm really insecure in a situation, and then, you know, somebody else does the same thing, and then I don't even blink an eye if they do the same thing that I would have done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, if somebody, I don't know, like, say I was stuttering a lot or something, and they were stuttering, too, like, I wouldn't be like, that's weird. I'd just be like, yo, I'm not even noticing. I'm not even noticing it as stuttering. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's where it comes down to is, you know, you still feel anxious by having those thoughts, like, but they're not actually happening, bro. They're not, like, objectively happening. Like, a lot of the things is a fairy tale in our head.
Totally right.
In that, it almost, it's so real, but it's so hard to believe. Bro, me too, dude. Like, I do this too, but it is true. Like, everything in our head is a fairy tale, bro. It's a lie that we all believe.
We're all living in some form of a fantasy.
Some form of a fantasy, bro.
We really are. We really are.
We're worried about things that never happen. And even if things are going to happen, if you cannot do anything to change it, worry is pointless. Because what worry does is it makes a situation's effects real in a horrible way, but without doing anything to help the situation. It's wanting to help a situation.
It's very irrational if you think about it.
It's so irrational. It's wanting to help a situation. Truly wanting to. That's why most people have worries, because they're worried about it. They're thinking about it because they care in some type of sense, or another. But still, bro, it's like worry is pointless. It hurts you. So it's not even just like pointless, like it has no effect on. It actually hurts you. So it's not even a matter of like It's not even a matter of, like, I guess, not doing anything with worry. It actually is, like, kind of a calling to do something, too, because it has an effect on you. You know what I mean? It's not like worry is not a virus that it doesn't live inside you and not ever act. You know, like how we can sometimes have, like, viruses inside us that might affect, not actually be, they're, like, dormant. Like, they don't actually, like, they're not alive. They're, like, or even if they are alive, like, they don't have an effect on you.
They're ineffective.
Ineffective viruses, bro. Like, or something like that.
Okay.
I think, dude, like, worry is not an ineffective virus. Like, people think it is. But it hurts you, bro. Like, if you had a virus in your body that was slowly killing you, never knew it, though. Never knew it. And you always, like, blew it off. You had, like, pain and stuff. You'd eventually, like, be like, fuck, if I would have only known. Worry is the same thing, bro. It's constantly killing you every day. most people just, all it takes is just to wake up a little bit and realize what's already been there.
Well, let me ask you this.
And it'll benefit you so much. Like people.
Like, what do you define as worry? Because if I had to define worry, like, subjectively, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Worry is subjective.
Like, yeah, true.
A lot of times. I mean, it can be, we can all have similar worries, but it is always somewhat subjective because worry is made up. It's all lies.
Yeah.
It's the realest, unreal thing.
Yeah.
Because most of the things we worry about never happen. And if they did, I mean, you could either do something about it, and if you can't do anything, worry is so pointless because it's literally choosing to feel shitty, thinking you have no say in that, and then feeling shitty.
And powerless.
And powerless, too.
Well, there's actually links of, like, studies that worry is linked to stomach ulcers. Which,
it is, bro.
That's just insane.
I remember actually seeing something like that online. And, dude, it is. I mean, I think I would like to see a study like this that's never been done before. Mm-hmm. And I think you think it's cool, too, bro. But, like, like, a really, like, you'd have to have like a bunch of machines on people, or I don't know about much machines. I don't know how they'd like graph this and like make sure it's properly graphed.
Uh-huh.
But if somebody had to control somebody's like, I don't know, brain chemical levels, I guess, and have somebody who have a bunch of different situations, have one that on the outside looks really sad, like if a kid who had like tons of family members die, really not a lot of money, grew up shitty, but he chooses to be happy. How his like brain chemicals react to that, because if you're happy, you know, you got like different brain chemicals going off. Like right. That doesn't lie, you know what I mean? Like if you put that on a machine, like if you're feeling shitty, you're not gonna have good brain chemicals going through you. You know what I mean?
There's no...
Like if you're really happy, different brain chemicals go through your brain. If you were really sad, those same chemicals wouldn't go through. So how much a situation and a bunch of different people mixed with good thought, like to where they're really courageous and strong, like nothing's gonna knock them off, or the same really bad thoughts, like nothing's gonna choose to, because it's all a double-edged sword, or nothing's gonna make them happy.
Pretty much what you're talking about is how can you manipulate your own brain to always think positively.
To hack your brain. It is possible, dude. Like, and you have to believe it is possible for it to work.
You gotta prime yourself.
Yes,
like that really, like, whether that be meditation, whether that be a workout, whether that be surrounding yourself with the right people, whether that be...
It's all of those, bro. It's like, all of them, dude. And that's the point, bro. Like, is that a lot of times... Wait, what were you saying before, bro? Can we exit this out, like this part of the video, too? Like, this... No, not like this part of the video, like this, because I just had a brain fart there for a second, bro.
Oh, no, you're cool.
Okay.
You're cool. No, it happens to me all the time.
Oh, dude, literally, I get brain farts all the time, bro. But no, what I was going to say is that, like, happiness a lot of times isn't what it is, but what you kind of perceive it to be. Everything kind of just comes down to a perception.
Well, you said you're a communication major, something, like, on this exact topic that really changed the way I, like, what was the way I interpreted it, but... that really changed the way I look about like perception and just the entire world is like, so you receive, you have a sender, the message, and then the interpreter. So really what is in your control? Your interpretation of it. That's the one thing that's in your control. The sender and the actual message that's being sent to you, you don't really have as much control over, but like maybe like you can surround yourself with people that are going to put more positive messages out. But you have control of how you interpret that external stimuli.
Yeah, dude.
So I apply that to like about like an event that happens in your life.
That's a really good way to look at it, bro.
When people talk to you or like pretty much anything, but it's always left to your own interpretation.
It always is.
So choose positive.
Yes. Dude,
interpret as positive.
100%, bro. Oh, sorry. Dude, literally life is a matter of choice at all times. But if you don't think it's a choice, you're choosing to not think it's a choice. So therefore, you're getting that result at all times because you truly believe that. But that's like the habit that sadly life's gone down, bro. Is that like people don't think they have a say in their happiness level.
It's sad.
In life, dude, don't get me wrong, bro. Like, if something objectively happens that's sad, like a family member passed away, part of life is to mourn.
Well, isn't that still subjective?
I mean? It's always subjective, but I think
you hear a stranger passing away, and you're
I think.
like if I hear a stranger passing away, I'm just like, like
Yeah.
like people die, you know. Like, but whenever it's to you, to your own,
and that's perception too,
that's
bro.
what funerals are. They're just for everybody that was related to them. It's not really for the person that dies. It's so that everybody can cope with it emotionally.
It is, bro. Yeah, dude. Like it. I mean, in Mexican culture and other cultures too, I know they look at death. Obviously, it's sad, but at the funeral and stuff, they celebrate.
Wow.
That just shows you death is something different to like a culture, a group of a cultural like in a cultural reference to people, but it's all what we make it out of. Like we wouldn't be dancing at someone's funeral here in America. Like, and if you grew up in American culture, like you wouldn't be dancing. That's just not how we grew up. Like people are going to be sad. Like they're still sad too, but they celebrate life. It's because they look at.
That's really what it is.
They look at celebrating life rather than like mourning death sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, bro, like it's different to control your mind in the way that I'm talking about, and like not let yourself still feel pain sometimes. Like you're gonna feel pain in life, and that is something that's inescapable if you truly want to be a good person. Because, dude, somebody passing away, even if you view life in a great way, celebrating life, it's gonna be a little sad. And dude, I think if you really are a good human, you feel empathy. Like you feel for people. Because like you'll see and
you can develop that skill.
Yeah, dude, like psychopaths don't feel shit. Like if you look at interviews of like a serial killer, people like the FBI or whatever agent, whoever will interview them, be like, what did you feel when you were doing this? Like, did you think of this person's family or anything? They're like, no. Literally insane. And like
I couldn't even imagine.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like you kind of, if you really are a good human being, you have to feel, like, whether it's empathy, whether it's, you know, things of that nature, you have to be relating to people. Like, that's part of it, dude. Like, if you, I don't know, if you've been through a traumatic situation, bro, like, sometimes, at times, it might be nice to talk to somebody who's in a situation like yours. Because you're like, they can actually relate in a sense, like, I don't know, I mean, we can relate to in certain ways, like, try to be there for them, but it's different to that person when they know that's, you know, like a support group or something of that nature. Because they know how they feel exactly. Like I'm saying, if somebody like in your family dies, that's the reference I was using before, because it's hard not to feel like pain, even when you try so hard to control it, because pain is like part of the process in that. It is part of the growing to like be more resilient, actually, in a sense.
Yeah,
to grow even more in a good way. But that's the one, like, this certain...
If you interpret it in the right way and kind of take it on for what it is. Like, take on the truth for what it is. And they, I don't know, I feel like too many people kind of lie to themselves to make them feel better temporarily. But that just creates problems down the road.
It does, bro. It honestly puts, like, Band-Aids over a wound.
Yeah,
almost.
True,
like, it doesn't heal the wound, bro, but it covers it up. You know, it covers up the wound, but it doesn't heal it, so... I think that's the case with a lot of things. It's like, you know, people think that, and the sad part is that people think, even me, bro, like, I'll say, I don't know, I'm trying to eat better or something like that, bro, or a certain situation in life. Like, I'm always trying to, like, become a better person. And after I get, like, say I meditate consistently and pray and try to, like, eat really alkaline or something, for example, and I get to, like, I'm really enjoying myself, you know, being pretty resilient, staying courageous and stuff, and still, like, you know, even when it's tough, like, still staying consistent, meditating, praying, being a good person, even when my feelings are trying, you know, getting those bad feelings out that are trying to push me toward, you know, giving in, you know, stopping, meditating, trying to progress myself as a good human. You know, it's hard when you get to, like, it constantly gets harder when you're trying to progress yourself. Like, if you were just trying to stop smoking, eventually it might be easy at like the 1 to 2 days, but as you get farther from not having a cigarette, it gets harder and harder for some reason, you know? I think it has a lot to do, with our perception.
Harder to...
Oh, it gets harder. You want to like smoke more, or like for me, you know, like I try to, you know, always progress and get like more prayerful or meditative or things of that nature, but it's hard, super hard to stay consistent. But consistency is the one thing that if you do objectively do it, it will... Dude, that's the one thing that you have to like be successful.
Or is it subjectively hard?
I think it's I think it's a mix of both, bro. Because a situation is always somewhat subjective.
Yeah.
Unless you get to the point where, and even this is subjective because it's still a human being viewing a situation. Unless you get to the point where you are so enlightened that you view a situation in the most high, good possible way. And I don't think there is a limit on anything, but like to the point where you're viewing like objectiveness itself, like truth itself.
Well,
like,
would it be like?
but it's still somewhat subjective.
Would you? Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? In
Would
a
you
sense.
prefer it as like, or perceive it as negative? Because if you're perceiving things as objectively, well, I guess then everything is relative, and nothing would actually be bad, and nothing would be good either. It'd just be.
It's like good and bad is only what we think good and bad of as. I mean, it still is something, but like how it interacts with us and like others, and I mean, good and bad is still like, you know, I mean, good and bad, it still is lawful, but it always is somewhat subjective.
Yeah.
You know, like what I mean? And that's like what life is, bro. Like, it's getting your subjective mindset, which is a lot of times animalistic, but also has the ability to be totally like saint and in, I wouldn't say godlike, but in a very enlightened being, because I don't like using godlike because we're nothing, in my opinion, compared to God. So, I mean, I think also, this is kind of beyond the topic I was talking about, but I think when people compare themselves to God, in a sense, they don't know what God is, because they're limiting God. It's almost like, you know, looking at a peasant as a king,
right?
When, you know, I mean, no, but if you really thought he was the king, like you would. That's really confusing, but I'm saying it's looking at things in a wrong way when they're not. It's not really. Well,
I mean, man is limited. Like
we're
really limited as human beings.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we're comparing a very limited species to something that's infiniteless.
Yes, exactly, bro. That's what I was trying to like get out, kind of, dude. I tend to make things really like when it's spontaneous like this, and my brain's going 100 miles an hour, more confusing than they need to be.
No,
but
cool,
yeah,
cool.
dude. But I think you don't know God. I think God is. It can mean in cultures like so much, many different things. But I think sometimes people are like, if they say, "Oh, God can't do this" or "God can't do that," well, like what you think of God in that situation is not God, because God would be able to do it. It's just you perceive God as to be something else, some material item that you think is an eternal being.
Right.
But that goes down to the perception too. Their perception's skewed. Like they think something that isn't true. Because, I mean, even me, you have a definition of, you know, God, or in different cultures it might be a different thing, you know, a different name or something of that nature. But in all religions, it kind of is objectively the same thing. Because of
similar, yeah.
You know, I mean, like it's the same, the highest energy source of love, I think. And
I'm very agnostic personally in that belief.
Oh, bro, I mean,
think all religions are wrong to some extent, and it's.
I do
like
too, right and wrong in a sense. In a sense, you know. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm a Catholic, bro. I resonate myself with the Catholic faith, but I mean, I was growing up in this, and I think objectively in a lot of situations, and for myself. But also, I recognize that, you know, to think freely, and not to like. I think a lot of times people get confused with thinking freely and going against something because you secretly don't like it. Like just going against it because like I'll say I'm thinking freely, but I'm really just don't like this person, so I'm gonna say something else. Or like, I don't know. There's a lot of kids who like go against like faith, the church, or not the church. I'd say God, because they've had a bad life, or something of that nature. And you know, I mean. They've been through different situations than I probably have, so they'd be like different.
Well, actually, I have a good example of this. Like, for the longest time, I had like a negative. Well, also let me clarify that I would say I'm agnostic to us as humans, as limited beings, having the capabilities to even imagine what God is like. Like, I just think I think it's literally impossible. Because
that's what I was getting to, bro. Is that like. Because even if we were like so enlightened to perceive God in an incredibly high form, even it might be our highest form we maybe perceive Him as, our possible extent on Earth that we can perceive Him here as. And I think, you know, limits too, I don't know. I mean, I think you can always blow past limits in every situation. And a limit is only as big as you put it, as you believe it to be. But I'm saying that would only be a part of God. Because God is so much bigger than what we can perceive Him as.
Right.
That even when we perceive Him at such a high source, He is so much more than that. He's limitless. And it's almost like, dude, it's so hard for like humans to perceive something that is limitless. Like I remember hearing like a psychological stat, like on all the people that died in the Holocaust.
Oh, wow.
Like millions and millions of people, like if me and you saw all those people lined up, millions and millions, we would not be able to believe that many people got killed and murdered. Like, it would be, like, physically hard for us to believe. Like, physically, and even when we look at that number, we cannot resonate with that. It's like,
it's hard to
I don't know how many people died, like, specifically, but it was millions and millions of people murdered.
It's like, I mean, really, if you, like, we have this idea of what a million is. But, like, when we really try to imagine what a million is, that's a lot. And, like
that's
what you're
going
to imagine might be a lot larger than what I'm going to imagine.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
We're both probably way off, too.
100%, dude. Yeah, because it's all different, man. I mean, like, what do you... Like, if me and you were in a helicopter, bro, and people were like, I want to show you all the physical amount of people who died in the Holocaust, like standing up. Say we're just people standing up. And we just flew over a helicopter. They were just sitting there, like a big crowd of people. Say it was like, I don't know how many millions of people died, but say it was that many from the war Holocaust, and we drove over in a helicopter, bro. It would be like so many people. We'd be like, how did this many people die such horrible deaths because of evil people? We'd be so there's like extents on what humans can perceive, like in situations like those, because they're just, it's so almost unfathomable. Like, you can't imagine. We get sad when like one person dies, righteously so, bro. But when that many people get brutally murdered like that, dude, like it's we can't even like react to it, bro. Like, it's almost like you don't know what to do. Like, it just. You can't do it. I mean, it's crazy, bro, you know?
True.
So,
but objectively speaking, is that even, like, bad, or is it just what is? Because, I mean, death is just as... With life, death is inevitable, so it's just as natural as life. So objectively, is that even, like... all those people dying, is that a bad thing, or is? And I'm not endorsing.
No, I know what you mean, like the way you're wording it.
Yeah.
Like, is it a bad thing
from a philosophical point of view?
Oh yeah, I think it definitely is, because like,
it is just what it is.
Yeah, I know. Like, I think though, like, because to evolve as like a huge, like I think, to put it in simple terms, I think we work at our highest as human beings when we are like literally trying to be objectively good, like good humans do, like go out of our way to be nice. And it's not like doing.
But don't you think the definition of good is kind of subjective?
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, but it is subjective. But deep down, we're always searching, I think, for good in a sense, because we all want to feel like non-anxious, and that's only happens like non-anxious, non-fearful when you truly are doing like godlike work. And that I think we.
But don't you think...
The proof is in the pudding. I think the evidence of, people a lot of times are like, following God does not work. And I think people get held down by like religions a lot, specifically doing specific things. I think if you just are literally a devout human being, you have your own personal relationship with God. Personal relationship. Like, you know him, in a sense, you know him. And I can't even put it into words. A personal relationship. That's all I can say.
Okay.
I think that's all you need, because then all the answers will come to you. In a sense, I mean, in your own, not all the answer. You still have to work for like reading and things of that nature and progress. But I think if you have your like a true personal relationship with God, not getting so held down by like specific beliefs, and there's a lot of people who are like devout and going after other people like hypocritically, saying, "Oh, you're doing this, you need to be punished in a wrong way," and they go after people and they actually turn them away from the faith, like from
true.
Just the faith of God in general, like. Because it really is what we're all looking for. The happiness level we're all looking to be happy. And I've noticed when I'm happiest is when I'm doing good, and I'm also like, praying and being meditative and really like working for that. Like, that is the best drug. I mean, it really is. It really is. Because drugs, all they do is give you a chemical reaction in your brain. Some type of chemical reaction.
Instant gratification.
And dude, like literally, even studies show, like if you have it is like a plant growing. Some grow quicker in one day than others. But they grow at different rates, and that's kind of like our faith level too. We can't get held down by like that's why it's always about looking at things good too, like doing your part and looking at things good, because that has a big say in it,
True.
So like even if things are like struggling, and
but
like,
don't you think I would argue that good is like the definition of pretty much any adjective, good, bad, any of that. I would argue that it's like pretty much completely subjective, because it's left in relative. Because it's all left open to interpretation. So, like, how you define good might be different than how I define good. How you define good in some aspects might actually be how I define bad.
Like, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it really is a game of relativity in life. But when you get to this point, we're like, or not to this point, but like to a point where you are like, okay, I've made it literally like a firm goal and like a true belief that you really want to be a good human, which is not ever forced, because rewards come out of choice, bro. Like, they really do. Like, it's different. Like, if you force me to go, like, I don't know, do something that I don't want to do, I probably wouldn't get that much out of it, because I don't want to do, like, school, for example, is a great example, because, like, a lot of things in school, like, I don't want to do, and a lot of people tell me I should do it. Like, I want to be successful and get a college degree, of course, but, like, classes I think are sometimes pointless. But people are telling me to do it, so I'll do it. But if I just went in that situation too, knew my goals in mind, like, why it's pointless, but it's getting me to a certain point where I can have more control in my life, I should still look at it happy. Like, it doesn't help me if I'm not doing shit about it, or, you know, I mean, then I shouldn't look at it negatively, or if I'm going to look at it negatively, I'll use that to, like, wake me up and be like, yo, am I looking at this situation because it really is bad, or because I want it to be bad, you know? Like, am I letting it wake me up? Like, am I, like, doing shit about it to change it? So, that's it. Yeah, I know. I feel like...
That's a good point, because whenever you're doing something you don't want to do and you're, like, kind of forced against your will to do it, I feel like I usually interpret that as a bad thing.
Yeah, dude.
Something I don't want to do, yeah.
And I think we get the perfect mix in life a lot of times. It's like, not, you know, I mean, you should let that wake you up sometimes. Like, there's a lot of times, we were talking about this earlier, but in public, like myself, I don't know, sometimes I'll be like, I don't know, habitually, we all think negative habitually sometimes, and it's kind of learning to control that, and it's a process, but, like, sometimes I'll be worried about things that aren't actually happening, and then not being worried about things that are actually happening, when I should be worried about the things that are. Like, I don't know, like, if I had my pants down at a theme park, but I was, like, not even, like, say I was on some trippy ass shit, bro, some trippy drugs, like, I wouldn't realize that that's, like, wrong, but everybody else around you, yo, you can't do that. You can't walk into a place naked with a bunch of families. Like, you as a human being should be known of that. You should know this. Like, as a human being, this is against the law. Like, you're showing yourself off to people. But, like, people who are on drugs, their self-awareness is different, so they don't realize that. But they should realize it, because, I mean, there is certain laws you're held accountable, just bare minimum, as just being on Earth. Being a human, so there's laws we're held accountable
mutually
to
accepted
for ourselves.
Things like because there are a lot of, like, I don't know, like, ethical issues like that that are, like, mutually accepted. Like yeah, like, I mean, we gotta enforce legality with it, but there are a lot of norms too that are just, like, culturally and even universally accepted. Like, you can't murder somebody. I mean, that's a legality issue, but, like, like that's perceived as wrong for sure, and, like, everybody can mutually agree on that.
Exactly.
But at the same time, like, if somebody 100%. Were to, there are people that naturally probably don't perceive that as bad at all. But
it doesn't make it not bad. Like there's certain, I think, objectively, I don't. Okay. Because even though the objective is subjective, I think a lot of times the objective, like, objective laws kind of come down to be subjective in a sense, because how we define them. But, like, I don't know, like, the Ten Commandments, you know, are pretty, as a law for even humanity, not only just for Christianity.
Yeah, totally.
Will probably make you feel pretty happy if you don't do those. Like, if you really do obey those, because in those definitions, they kind of have something to do with everything in life. Like, really every negative thing in life. Negative, like we said, is subjective. But it also, when you have goal, if you're trying to be a good person, like a good human, which we all should be held accountable to, and we all are held accountable to certain laws, like real laws, physical laws, and if we're not, then we get punished for those. Like, you know, killing people or stealing or something, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's why we have prisons in state, or in open and stuff. But, like, yeah, I think there are certain objective things, and if people, I mean, there's people who break laws all the time. Like, they don't follow those laws. Obviously, you don't have to follow those laws. That's why it always comes down to choice. But they're set in place to protect humans. And I think you don't have to follow anything, but if you are wanting to align yourself with, like, I think just truth itself, then you kind of got to be, like, a good person. Like, in a sense, I think it's part of the process of, like, actually attaining happiness.
Do you think, like, approaching truth instead of hiding from the truth is the result is you become a good person?
In good person, dude, it's so, like, cliche and broad, like, because it's so many different things into one. But what I'm saying is, like, going truly, and it's all limited by yourself too. Like, being a good person, like, I could say I worked out for 10 minutes and I say, oh, it's a good workout. And then somebody else could work out for an hour really hard and be like, I can do more. But they did way more than I did.
Right.
But it's always about like, so what I'm saying is in reference to that, it's like being a good person. I could give like a homeless man $1 bill and then do a bunch of horrible shit and feel like I was a good person in my own brain, but like somebody else actually goes out of their way, like does a ton of good shit, doesn't want anything in return, but maybe like in their brain they feel they need to do more. That kind of is a blessing in my opinion. Like people like who think like that, like they're always needing to do more, but they're still, you still should be content with the moment.
Okay.
But like people like that, that's like, I think those are the people that in my opinion, there's no way to prove this, but I think those kind of people like not only get a lot in the app, like after this life in my opinion, in some way, shape, or form, but they also in the moment like get extreme levels of happiness like that they don't even realize. And it like I think, dude, it's feelings they have so many definitions, but like I think people who are really being like good people, I think, and don't want anything in return, they felt pain, but they've went through struggles and stuff, but I still think they're on some of the best drugs, bro.
It's not
some of the best brain chemical drugs, bro. Like,
I like that comparison.
You know what I mean? Because it really
it's
is,
not even
dude.
like they're receiving like happiness from it. They're receiving like bliss.
Bliss, dude.
That's really what comes
what
with
it
that,
is.
like helping like people and doing something that's greater than yourself.
Yeah, dude.
That's so important.
Dude, that's so true, bro. Because like bliss is kind of like what we all search for, bro. Like no worries at all. Because even when you have no worries, you might have a type of worry in there, or a type of like just kind of something throwing you off in a sense where you could, because if you constantly like look at happiness as like a progression and never limited, then I guess you will always feel like your next level, even when you're at the top of the mountain, there's still more to go, bro. Like you can still get more.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, dude, it's pretty interesting stuff, bro. So yeah, I think the only limit we set is the one that we believe to be true.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And if you don't believe in limit, well, there's no limit then, bro.
Which is good. It's good to like get introspective and figure out what those beliefs are that you hold, and to ask the right questions about like, that's what I'm learning lately. It's like asking the right questions to get the right answers, and to be able to ask the 100%. Questions like, why do I feel this way? Oh, it's because when I was 9, somebody told me I wasn't good enough at this. So that's ultimately like affected my self-confidence and my like perception of myself, which has resulted in me like thinking like limited, like oh, I can't do this because why? Because the past told you one time that you couldn't, and you've just been believing it since. Like, so it's good to get introspective and to ask these questions to yourself.
It is, bro. Like everything is there, but it's not all given freely, and that's part of the process. Is like we have more power than what we believe, and when we don't believe in that, and we're not like like happy-go-lucky to believe in that, like that we do have a lot of power, and part of that power comes from just believing that we do. And so like it's part of the process, not only like realizing that you have a lot of power, but like doing something with it too.
Right.
So like. I mean, it goes hand in hand. But, yeah, bro, what'd you say, like, right before that, bro? You had a good phrase, like, right before I started talking.
You said something. Own perception of ourselves and how, like, limiting beliefs. So, like...
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk on.
Okay.
It's like how, like, even, like, the sake of, like, limiting your belief is a belief itself. It's just...
Are you referring to the power that you give that belief?
Yeah, so, like, say, I don't know, say like I believe in something, like I'm going to be, I don't know, because believing in something, I don't know, I'm going to be a pro like soccer player or something, and I believe in that so much that I actually work toward that goal actually being accomplished, then like that's belief in action, because it actually creates. I think belief has to be part of creation if it really wants to be like successful and true belief. But what most people believe as is just and belief itself actually is kind of just like a thought and like an emotion attributed with that. But like belief is meant to give like a creation aspect to it. Like you believe something to act. To what I mean? To like act.
Yeah.
You don't just believe itself like with no action.
Yeah.
Because belief
It dictates your action. It dictates your action
a lot
absolutely.
Because action, we want things to be picture perfect at all times, and I don't know. I think we think in a lot of situations as humans that we want something to be a certain way, and therefore try to make it that way when it can be a bunch of different other things. You know what I mean? Like I picture, say, my life from here on out to be a specific certain way. And eventually, even if I control it to be a specific certain way, sometimes it just doesn't end up like that. Like, I don't know, like to be a pro musician at like 25 or something like that. Even if you work really hard for that, sometimes it doesn't happen. So you kind of still got to be, you got to be controlling, but also soft in a sense to where like, you got to recognize when to change like certain things and when, things are going to change, I mean, that kind of sounded, what's a better way I can phrase that? Like, I don't know, instead of being, I guess, just going, sometimes you just got to go with the waves, you know what I mean? Not always fight them, but sometimes just go with them.
Referring to, like, the direction life takes you.
Life takes you, yeah, like, have general goals in mind, but if those goals they can still be achieved, but if somehow something happens to where...
And it will.
It's out of your control in a sense.
Something will come up. If you're trying to achieve something, it's not going to go the way, it's never going to go the exact way you plan it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like what we were saying earlier, like it's good to have like an itinerary for your life and have some preparation, because I feel like effective preparation is gonna like take you the right direction. But you're totally right. Like so many, like it's kind of like okay, here's the outline of how I'm gonna get there. Fill in the gaps. The rest is gonna be spontaneous.
100%, bro. I agree with you, man. Like I think it's good to go through life with goals in mind, because there's no point. Why would you spend 90 years here and just fall into the habit that everybody else has been in? That you think, going through the motions of life, never helping anybody out truly, and just never doing something you truly want. That in the end, you spend a bunch of time here, and then most time people, when they're on their deathbed, they wish they would have fought their fears a little more. They wish they would have recognized like how to be more courageous. Not because people told them to, but because it would actually affect their lives, bro. And like, and that's if we can realize that now, then you can actually change the future in a sense. If you can realize something that if you keep doing right now, say like never chasing your dreams, and then at the end of your deathbed you're going to regret that, and you inevitably also regret that until that moment occurs, just as step by step, constant nagging of like, I should be doing more.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It is so important to ask that question at this age.
It is,
like, what am I going to regret not doing?
What am I going to regret not doing, bro? Because like, if you can see that for what it truly is, and even people like, you might be at a state in your life where you like, I won't regret doing shit, like, you still probably will, bro. Like, we all want to be something. Like, even if we don't even realize it, we all want to, like, achieve something, bro.
Totally.
Like,
everybody wants to be great.
Everybody does want to, bro. Like,
which is why we lie to ourselves so much in the first place.
So much, dude.
Because we want to see ourselves in a positive light. So sometimes people, 100%. Their self-talk just gets negative, and really, they don't approach the truth. They lie to cover up, and then they live in a perception of lies.
A perception of lies.
But let me ask you this. So for everybody listening, Collin was thinking about starting a podcast.
Yeah, kind of, bro. Yeah.
But like,
be fun, bro.
Be honest and like take a few seconds to like really think on this, or even if you don't think on it right now, think about it tonight. Like, would you regret it if you didn't try it? Because that's the reason I started this. Like, I thought about it. I was like, dude, podcast would be kind of cool. And I thought about it for a few more days. I was like, dude, a podcast would be sick.
It is, dude.
And then I really came to the question where I came to the answer, and I was like, I'm going to regret it if I don't try this.
Heck yeah.
So that would be my question for you, to challenge you to whether or not it's something you'd want to do or not.
Yeah, bro. Like, I don't know. Like me, I'm kind of in always a constant battle with myself, because it's not like, I've always noticed it's what I think of myself, not what other people think of me. Because if other people are thinking bad of me, bro, and I still think good of me, it doesn't affect me.
Sure.
So, like, I don't know. I just kind of want to go through life and help people, like, to think, I don't know, resiliently. Be like, yo, you are always in control of your own happiness. And I think a podcast would be great to, like, kind of show that overall, like, message. And always have different people on. And also, I think a podcast would be great because, first of all, that's, like, a way for me to spread that message, like, And dude, so many other messages, not just that one. I was just thinking of that one then.
That's the cool part about this. You start finding your voice.
So many different things. And it's not like held down.
True.
You know? You start finding your voice, bro.
You figure out, what do I want to stand for? Like, what do I want to stand for? All the wrong things or all the right things? And how do I find the right things? What do I think's right? What do I think our culture's lacking? What do I think kids at this age are lacking? Like a lot of questions arise, and you start to, like, at least me, like, I've listened to myself talk, and I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that I said that. Like,
dude,
like,
me too.
I'm gonna say less of that.
I 100% agree, bro. Like, there's sometimes, even me, like, I don't know, like, I'll get insecure about things, and I'll be like, yo, dude, like, why did I do that? I regret that. And I get, like, a weird feeling attributed with it as if it happened. But then I look at it back, and I'm like, yo, dude, I don't think anybody will, like, think anything of that. Like, and even if they do, you know, it's not up to them. That's not their happiness level. And I want people to, like, that's really what I want people to realize, bro. It's like, yo, like, you don't have to be so, like, worried about what other people think. Because a lot of times what you're worried about isn't something that actually matters. And secondly, it's like you are feeling really shitty for something you don't have to.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, I just think worry comes down to. And so I just want people to realize, like, that kind of, like, vibe. Like, you have a say in, like, the way you feel in the world. And, like, it's hard to believe at the beginning, but it's true. Like, you always have a say. And you have more power than you think. And, like, just overall messages like that, I think if people believe them, they've always been here, but I think people need to just see what's always been there in a way they can understand. You know, I think it's always about wording things right. Okay. And that's one thing podcasts are cool for, bro. Like, you do a really good job of that, bro, is asking, like, good questions and also just, like, wording things good. But it's like, you know, I mean.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, bro. Yeah, I mean, I don't word things. I word things confusing a lot, but I think if people just get the message, that's all that matters, you know. I mean, these things are spontaneous, too, dude. Like, you know, they're not practiced. Like, that should be life. Like, life should be, you know, planned and, in a sense, like, not to where you're like, oh, like, I got to do this, that. You should always be in the moment, have goals in mind, and be relentlessly positive. And I think, and also just not be just be chill, like, be like talking to people like normal, like, not be so scripted, like, I mean, this famous boss today, I gotta make sure I do everything right, and then I stutter, and then, like, you actually create, like, something like that actually becomes negative because you're trying to control so much. Yeah. When it's really, you control the most when you let go. It's the biggest weird thing. If you let go and you're just like, let go. If you were like, people were like, wow, dude, this guy's like he's got a hold of himself, but he's just really relaxed. Like, yeah. Oh, you're drawn to those people. This I am. I've always been very drawn to, like, the very. Like even the hippie type, like the people that just have that, like, inner calm with them. I've always been very drawn to those type of people. It is intriguing, bro, because they don't need, other people's false beliefs to make them happy, bro. Absolutely, it's always life is a battle of yourself. Mm-hmm. Because if a million other people think badly of you, but you think good of yourself, those million people pretty much their effects on your happiness do not exist, dude. Do not, because they're irrelevant. Because if their belief all adds up and makes you feel super shitty, then it has something effect on you. But, you know, if it has an effect on you and you're like, oh, these people think I'm, I'm weird because I wear, I don't know, say these athletic shorts were known as being weird or something because I wear athletic or just any type of clothing, and be like, yo, bro, I'm not doing anything wrong. I like these because they're comfortable. Like, I like them. Like, you guys, I don't need that to bring me down. You choose not to give into it, well, then it doesn't affect you. So it doesn't matter what other people think. It's like, it really doesn't. I think these shorts are cool. So you can apply that exact same logic to, like, aspects of your personality, of your life, and, like, who you are as a person. Like, that's a good. It's always a battle with yourself. That doesn't have to be there. That's something I learned about artificial battle through Vine. Like, through Vine, I learned a lot. Like, because a lot of whenever I was making the videos, I was like. Well, like, dude, like, what are other people gonna think? Are they gonna think I'm weird for this? What, dude. Like, is this too far of a joke? Is this, like, what are people gonna think? And then ultimately, like, I just got better and better at thinking, like staying true to myself and saying, I don't care. Like, I think it's funny. I think this is funny, so I'm gonna put it out there. That's what I'm saying. I don't care what other people think. Like, and I got a lot of haters on it, but bro, that's the whole point, bro. Like, these podcasts too, dude. Like, podcasts in general, and they kind of are relative to things in life. Like, they kind of go hand in hand because, like, it's just off the top, you're going to stutter you're not going to have, like, clips cut out a lot of times. Like, but that's life, dude. Like, nobody should be all on your job,
I've
bro.
said some
like,
dumb shit on here. I've said some stupid shit on here. Like like stuff I do not agree with. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, people.
But that's all part of you finding your voice. That's
It is.
That's what I believe.
Bro, 100%. Like, it all comes back to itself. Like, it all comes back to, like, similar answers, bro. It's that, like, all the negative and bad shit does not have to be there. But it's all artificial and made up. And it really is. I mean, it's artificial and made up, but it's as if it was real. Because you feel like if most bad feelings come from bad thoughts, usually, a lot of times. And I think when you realize that, you can kind of do something with it. You're like, oh, shit, I have a control in this. Most people don't believe they have a say.
Right.
But yeah, most of the time, like, most situations can come from most negative feelings come from some type of negative, like, thought or action even. And that can all be controlled.
Whether you see yourself in a negative light.
Yeah, whether you do. It's all about the way you see yourself, not the way others see you. Because you are, I mean, I don't know, you might be one thing to me, and then to another person, you might be someone else, and then something else. But you are you to you. But, you know what I'm saying? So it's a bunch of different things.
Not to switch up the topic.
No, you're good, bro. Yeah.
What if you were to start a podcast? What would be some of your agendas?
Honestly, bro, like, the cool thing I like about podcasts is that, like, you don't have to, like, this whole thing that we've been talking about, bro, like, really just come off, like, the top based on, because we've asked one question. We could ask a question about, like, a cup.
Yeah, we didn't get to any of
that. And that evolves into like beer.
Laptop, cool, it's on.
It's not on. Yeah, that's good, bro. Cool. So, like, yeah, similar subjects bring up similar, like, talking topics, but, I don't know, some of the things I'd talk about, bro, would be, like, I like music a lot, man, talk a lot about music, like, these, like, tricks of life, psychological hacks that we can have control in, bro, like, literally everything. I don't want to be limited on anything. I just want to talk to people, like,
that's how I feel too.
Like,
yeah.
I just want to talk to people. Like, that's when you get on a real level with people, is like when you're in a situation that most people would view as, like, really stressful, but like, you stay extremely calm. Like, and
what's the situation exactly?
No, I'm saying, like, if I didn't word that right, bro, but like a situation like if you were to have a huge name person, like, on your show or something like that. Most people get, like, nervous if they're not, like, a big star, but, like, just talk to people like they're normal, not, like, be biased because they're, like, someone famous or something like that.
That's funny because there's this.
That's the way I was trying to say, in a sense, like,
totally.
not being biased toward, like, looking at everybody in a great light, you know, because we all are, you know.
Well, going off of
in
that, I actually have, like, a lead on. I guess you'd call it a lead. I don't know. But I like know somebody down in Springfield who's going to Missouri State next year as well.
Oh, really?
And
okay, cool.
His name's Jack Brinkman, and he's actually famous on YouTube.
Oh, that's dope, dude. I've never heard of him, but
yeah, I never heard of him before either.
There's so many big YouTubers.
True. He's
bro, that's cool,
600,000 subscribers.
Damn.
And 100,000 followers on Instagram, and he also has a girlfriend who's famous.
Dude,
and he said he'd come on my
dope.
show. But, like, my dad's like, you should not have them both on at the same time. Like referring to him and his girlfriend, because they.
So you could do two separate shows to interview them both kind of individually.
Well, he was saying I get starstruck. He's like, you're gonna get scared of like having two big celebrities. And I was like, no, I don't see them as celebrities. I see them as people. Like,
that's what you gotta do, bro.
Like, who cares? Like,
we're all. I think we're all celebrities as human beings, bro. I mean, they're celebrities, like, obviously, like, because they're successful. Mm-hmm. But in a sense, like, the way I'm saying, it's like we all. If you are, like, a good human, you view everybody as a celebrity, bro. Like, everybody's like that. And then you become, like, the happiest person because you view life that way. It's like, it gives back to you what, like, you're supposed to view. Like, if you view something right, the world is going to be like, okay, this guy's doing right. I'm going to make him feel good. I'm going to make him, like, be like, yo, this is the right thing to do. Like, where you just know, you know? So, but yeah, bro, no, it's super sick, dude. If you had them on the show, that'd be dope.
Yeah. But whenever they come on, I'm not going to treat them any different than I treat you.
Not at all, bro.
I mean, yeah,
a little different because they're different. Different, like, talking points.
Absolutely.
In that way, but, like, in a general emotional sense.
I'm going to treat them genuinely.
Yeah,
I'm going to treat them with respect, just like I treat you with respect, just like I treat any other guest with respect. And I'm not gonna sit here and just fucking, like, drool all over them. Like, oh my goodness, this person's famous. Like, because I don't know. Like, ultimately, me and him do the same thing. He makes content, I make content. And the only difference between the two of us is he has an audience and I don't. And to be honest, I like the belief I'm living with, whether this be, I guess, conceit. I don't think it is. I just think it's pretty confident about this. I just think I like my agenda and I like everything I'm doing. I think only positives can come out of podcasting, nothing negative.
Bro, I don't think anything negative really can. I mean, unless you're like talking about like really evil shit, like that's not good. Like you're not doing any of that like dark ass satanic like weird shit.
Well, that's the other thing.
Like if you were doing that, that'd be like, oh yeah, but
you have to hold yourself to a higher standard whenever you're constantly talking and documenting what you're saying. Like you're like, okay, like that's kind of fucked up. I don't want to think that way anymore. Like, but I'm not gonna treat them. Like, they're people to me, just like anybody else is a person. Like,
exactly, bro.
Like, if somebody has success and they have an audience, something I desire, I'm not gonna be all over them because they have something I want. Because ultimately, it's just a little something I lack, but I'm confident I'll gain it at some point, so I don't really stress over it. Like,
I agree, man.
Because I would imagine if I were in their position, I wouldn't want somebody to constantly like wanting something from me. Like, I would love for him to come on, but I want him to be able to gain something.
I wouldn't want, like some people even do like myself fall into that what you were just talking about, like not even trying to do it out of like goodwill. Like if I met somebody, I don't know, say I met like a really famous singer or something like that, and I was like, oh god, like you gotta shake their hand, you're just like they're like, how you doing? You're just like, yes, like you don't like, you're just like so nervous, you don't know like how to respond.
Everybody wants to be treated like a normal person. I believe that at least.
And when you're thinking like that, that's what I'm saying. Everybody wants to treat you like a normal person.
Totally.
When you just, I don't know, like in a situation like that, if I'd be trying to like, I get nervous around like a famous person because I'm trying to like show myself off or prove to them I'm worthy or something like that. It doesn't ever work out. Like, you're trying to control a situation. It works out in the opposite a lot of times. You end up screwing up, being nervous, being weird, and like if you're trying to like impress someone and stuff.
Oh, naturally, I mean,
it's a paradox, bro. It's
else is going to be trying. It's like a hot girl. Everybody's going to constantly be trying to like impress you. So it's almost like the people that aren't impressed are the person. Because otherwise, if everybody was like constantly like wanting something from you, you just naturally like repudiate them in like any way you
It's a good word, brother.
can.
Repudiate.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Actually, I keep a little vocab list.
Dude, that's actually a good idea, dude. It really expands like your knowledge of the world. It's like knowing different words.
True.
So
and I agree. It makes you sound a lot smarter than you really are.
Makes you sound regal.
Speak deep voice and use big words. And
deep voice, British accent, big words, bro. That's a key, dude.
British accent.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, man. No, that's
British
awesome, dog.
Key.
It is, man. It's an.
Well, actually, here we can end with this question.
Okay, bro.
All right, it's not even on here, but this is a question I was thinking of. So on that, going off of that, if you're Justin Bieber, right? He's in a very, very special and rare condition that pretty much no other man in this world experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some other people at that status.
He is like organic to him. Like there's not a lot of people like that dude. Like on terms of like celebrity level.
Well, think just in the aspect that he could literally get any girl he wanted. Like,
for sure.
No exaggeration. If Justin Bieber wanted any girl under 30, he would have 99% of
100%,
any of them he wants. Like, probably more than that, realistically
Definitely,
speaking.
dude.
So,
Definitely.
What do you value in a woman once you can have any woman you want? Like, are looks gonna... Like, I just refuse to believe that you're gonna want the hottest girl. Like, would it just 100% come down to, like, the personality she has and how she makes you feel when you're around her? Or what would it come down to?
I don't know, dude. Like, that's a constant, like, evolving thing, bro. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, in my opinion, like, if he was in that, like, he is in that situation, you would kind of, like, have to be longing for something that, because I eventually think you get, like, sick of, like the same old, like if you really, eventually I think you'd want like something a little more serious, like at least at some point in your life, if you can get any girl, like you want someone that you truly like, is
Absolutely.
what I'm trying to say.
That would definitely,
eventually you might go in and out of that, like date, then like, and then date, and then like, or something like that. But I think eventually, like, if you could have any girl in the world, it'd be cool for a while, I think it'd always be dope, actually. It would always be I think it'd be pretty sick. But, like, I think if you're, like, a good like, eventually, like, you're a good person or something, like, a good human, you're trying to, like, be, you know, a good follower of God, I think eventually, like, dude, you'll find, like, you'd probably want to find a girl that's, like, actually, like, super chill and, like, loving and, like, things of that nature. So
I think it would come down to a lot of personality at that point. And obviously
it would, bro.
He would still have an attraction to her, but I don't think he'd really even see the difference between a 10 and an 8. If you want to go on like that superficial 1 to 10 scale. Like I don't think
he would either, man.
He would care about like how cool she is. Like
I did too, dude.
As long as there's a sexual attraction there, like it doesn't really matter how like what she looks like too much.
You're right, man. I mean, because that really doesn't. I mean, if you have a chick that's so hot, but she's like literally like a murderer and wants to kill you, she's not that hot, man. Or even I'm not even like something more rational, like she's like a total like bitch.
She's crazy,
down, like literally totally negative, like.
But she's a 10,
crazy.
Straight 10. Like,
straight 10.
What
like,
you define like beautiful, like physical beauty, like all the attributes, like she's a 10.
It's total 10, yeah.
But her personality is like a 3.
You like almost like she's the biggest, most mean, like crazy, like totally wreaks havoc on your like emotions, unjustifiably so. But is like the hottest babe, almost like crazy to like you almost are like I can't even like walk away. Dude, eventually, like you will like leave that relationship because
absolutely,
yeah, your emotional like standards are set to a way higher margin than your what you view like hot in a girl, because that only lasts so long. Like it only works if the chick's like chill and actually like has a good person. Same with dudes, like it only works like for girls, like when you're dating a guy, like if the person's like a chill overall,
compatible with you,
good personality, like respectful, it only works then, bro. Like because. Or, I mean, it might work. I mean, you might be in a relationship. I don't think it'll work, though. You might be in a relationship with someone for a long time who's, like, horrible.
Right.
But, I mean, some people aren't, like, getting habits like that where they just don't get out of relationships that are bad and toxic. But
I couldn't imagine.
I couldn't either, man, because
I
would just
so
feel like,
pity for those people, but... Because going back to what we were talking about earlier, they probably feel powerless. They do, dude. Yeah. It's probably hard for them to imagine their life without them, and they lack the confidence to try what it'd be like to be single. So they find it easier to just accept their current circumstances that are making them miserable.
Dude, that's totally true. Yeah, it's almost backwards, bro. It's like literally like backwards. It seems like the answer would be in the question. In a sense, like, or the answer is kind of in the question, is what I'm trying to say. It's like, yo, bro, like, why would anybody, like, stay in that? Like, it's almost like, if you are, like, have hypothermia and you're in cold water, in freezing cold water, but you can just step right out and do, like, one step and save yourself, then why wouldn't you do it? You know what I mean? Like, if it's that easy to get out of a relationship physically, like, just leave, then why wouldn't you do it? And that's what a lot of people think it is, but I think, most of the time, it's a battle within that own person's brain. They feel they can't leave, and because they feel that way, it's the way it is. So.
Oh, what a terrible position.
Oh yeah, it's horrible, bro.
I feel bad for anybody in that.
I do too, man.
But at the same time, like you
think of them, pray for them, wish the best to them.
Can't feel terrible for them because I just feel bad that they think they have no power.
Because it kind of makes them have no power because they think they can't do anything. So it makes them not do anything. Mm-hmm. It all comes down to the person too, man. Like you can want help for somebody as much as you want, and help them too. But in certain situations, like it all comes down to whether or not they want to help themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, what you do as a human to help someone is only as much as it only helps as much as they truly want to help themselves.
Sometimes they think by staying in that terrible relationship they are helping themselves because they're not experiencing the pain of being single and the first few months of how bad it might be. And they might make it miserable. They might make their own hell within that experience.
I agree, buddy.
You never know.
You're right, man. I mean, I think. I've never been in a relationship like that, but I think it's a lot of mental manipulation. Whoever's like in a toxic relationship, a lot of times too, like the relationship doesn't start out like that. Like it starts out awesome, and that's part of the manipulative part. Is like if you've been with somebody for so long and they slowly change. People change, man. I mean, we can be whatever we want to be. You could be a great human in one part of your life, be a horrible at another.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I mean, we're all constantly evolving and constantly staying the same. And that's the thing too. It's like that's part of the manipulation. That's why people are like feel they can't get out of a situation like that.
True.
Because they feel like powerless in a sense. I mean,
it's all they've ever known.
It's all they've ever known, bro.
It's uncomfortable.
It's all they either known, or maybe at the beginning of the relationship it was great. At the end, it was horrible. And now they're like, oh god, I've been with them so long, I can't leave now. You know, this is my life. You know, so. But it's just about being aware and like, you know, in those situations. So, yeah.
So, boy, we can go in a second, but
again, you're good, bud.
Let me ask you again: would you regret it?
Oh, about the podcast?
Would you Do you really think
at one point in my life, I'm kind of the guy that I try to find the perfect mix between controlling the flow, like going with the flow, like going with the flow and then controlling the flow.
Okay.
Like the perfect mix between that, because I don't want to like control things too hard to where I'm like, you know, not recognizing like my relationship with God and just like being, you know, chill and like letting things come to me sometimes. But I also got to go to them. So I think I'm going to wait in my life. I think till the time's right. I just feel like that. Like I feel like I probably won't start one like right after this. Just doing a bunch of stuff in my life. I'm not saying like I might start one right. I don't know. Like it might be a few months until I start one probably, bro. I kind of just maybe like build some ideas. I don't know, man.
Do you want to hear my personal take?
Yeah, dude. I do, bro. Because I'm kind of in, as you can tell by me talk, I'm kind of in a situation like. But the question you asked, I'll start a podcast. I want to in a sense, but I also like want to wait kind of, and that goes back. That's a great question I can ask myself out of this is like, what do I want, dude? Like,
right.
And that's also, it's like I kind of know what I want, but I can do more. Like I know what I want, and I have goals in mind. But also, I think I can do more with life and add a podcast to the things I can do, like in my life, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
To add to those goals and stuff like that. So I would like to start one. And would I regret it? I think if I don't start a podcast before I die in life, whenever that is, I think I probably would be regretful because I feel like I could do more, and that would be an outlet for me to do more.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Because my personal advice would be to start, especially with knowing that answer, would be to start as soon as possible, only out of fear that you don't ever start it at all. And
yeah,
you say like the timing's not right now. Mm-hmm. I would say start it and then let it slowly progress. But me personally, this is what I would do. Start as soon as possible. And maybe just do like some really brief initial stuff, like even if it's like 1 or 2 podcasts,
exactly.
And then like maybe some I don't know, like some like the intro song or whatever you decide is like something you could add on and start now. And then even if it's like it takes you 2 years to get you to like I don't know, like maybe like 50 episodes and like a point where you kind of want to be, at least you got started then. And then you could
add off it if you want or something.
Like you could like, at least for me, it took me from June all the way. And again, this advice is super subjective.
No, you're good, bro.
From June all the way till like November, and I really didn't do too much for it, but I knew it was something I wanted to do. And I kept it in the back of my head. I started it. I did like 6 with my grandpa. Did a few like just ranting to a camera, and then I didn't really do any. And then actually, I started on my birthday, and so October 25th on. I've just been hitting it hard.
Oh, dude, that honestly, like the proof is in the pudding. Like you've been, I feel like after even just like, you know, whatever it may be, like it's a business you started, got off your feet off the ground with it, or like you progressed as like an athlete or something and got like better and better and better, bro. Like what I mean by the proof is in the pudding is like the feeling, the gratification, and the feeling is in by what you're doing. Like you're realizing that like. Wow, dude, like this feeling I'm getting that's growing inside me of like achieving my goals, even in the smallest sense, it is growing. Like,
yeah,
and a lot of times it's an always evolving thing, and stigma, like if we have stigma of like what we think things should be, we sometimes limit them. And that can be bad, definitely, because our belief is definitely a major reason for like action and stuff, and also like the way you feel. But yeah, man, I feel like after you do something for a long enough period of time, and like if say it's a goal or something, and it starts to get its feet off the ground, you start to see it like progress, dude. Like you really do start to feel different. I mean, like those dreams a lot of times come to life, dude.
True.
That's where the real currency is, like feeling, bro, because that's really like what money can't buy, dude. And that's what money tries to buy is a good is always a feeling, because money, I mean, all people spend money for is to have a good feeling attributed with it, because that's how it interacts with you, and that's the only way it can interact with you. Like,
I love that perspective.
It is, dude. It's so true, because it is really a valid statement. I mean, it is something that no matter who you are, it is true no matter what, because money only has an effect on you if you feel something out. If you get like a good attribution in your feeling of your body, like if you were to do a drug, like if I bought like weed and like smoked like a couple of joints, like I'd buy it because I want to feel like some type of feeling or like get some type of influence from it or in some way or another.
Yeah.
But if I were to buy that and it didn't do anything to me or anything at all, it's like the money was like a waste, you know? Like, and the same thing is with life. It's all about, you know, quantity is nothing, but quantity in material is nothing, but quantity in thought is everything. Because so it really is confused. So quantity in material is nothing. So $1 could be as good as $100. If that $1 is like, if you look at it like $100, if I look at $100 like $1, obviously $100 is more than $1. Like, I should look at that as being like, fuck yeah, I got $100, bro. But like, if I look at things in a gratifying way and say, hey, yo, I got $1, like, I'm gonna look at it like 100, and you really do that. Mm-hmm. It really is as good as $100. In a sense, not in a mathematical sense. I mean, but like, or like an
or like
money
even if
sense.
Like bills got to be paid.
Bills got to be paid. I obviously,
like $50. Yeah, but yeah,
I was talking about like how people like emotionally react to situations.
Absolutely,
how they can control it in a sense, in most senses.
I was just thinking of like somebody listening to this, like refuting that. Being
not
fully understanding what you were saying.
100%, bro. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I said that a lot, dude. 100%. I've kind of gotten to that phrase, like agreeing with people, being like, 100%.
I say true a lot on this. True.
Dude, it's a great reference. But yeah, dude, I think
that would be
things.
Right,
no, you can go, bro. You can go.
That would be my advice, though. Get started, because there's going to be some nitty-gritty little obstacles that you got to overcome, and you'll have fun overcoming them. Mm-hmm. But I would say get started as soon as possible and work at your own pace.
Exactly, dude.
And whatever getting started even means to you. Like, it could be just a cover photo. It could be, like I said, the intro song. It could be planning out, like, what you would want to do with the podcast. It could be just having 2-3 guests on, so you at least have some content ready to go, or whatever that may be to you.
That's true, man. Yeah, no, dude, I'll definitely, you'll definitely be an influence for me if I try to start a podcast or something, bro. But I just want people to think, like, dude, like, you know, don't be so stressed out with things, bro. Like, if things usually work out all the time, even if you do think negatively or something like that, it usually all works out. But, I mean, we can control a lot more than we think, I think.
And that could be a big part of your agenda. And then maybe these conversations that you would have with that starting agenda, maybe like me and you come on and we have like somebody else. It's like the three of us sitting down with like us two and like a friend. And then that conversation leads you, like we were saying with philosophy, it brings up more questions and more answers, which those questions lead to new agendas, new things. And then you're constantly seeking the truth, and you're going to become a different like version of yourself.
And the truth kind of always expands into like different forms of truth. Yeah. Because once, say I have an objective to find an answer, and I view that as like the truth, well, once I get to that point, I'm like, okay, well, how did this get here? It's like if you find like a shoe in the forest, you start to wonder where that shoe came, and then where that shoe came from that person or something, like you wonder where, you know, that came, like a crime. I don't know, if you found like a good example is like a crime scene or something. You always try to uncover the clues, and once you find one thing, it usually answers to like, okay, how did this get here? Until you get to the end of the puzzle or something, you find out, okay, this person did this, and that. But life is not like that. Usually, you have to go much farther to find the end of that tunnel, which is, it's always a game. It's a constant evolving like game, bro. I mean. Dude, life is weird though, bro. Like, your mind is a hacking system. Like, you can do a lot more with it. And I don't mean like computer shit, no, bro. I mean like, you can control a lot more than you think by your belief level and by like believing in that actual aspect of like you can do a lot more with your mind than you think. And dude, you got to be resilient. You got to be like, if negative thoughts are going to throw themselves at you, you can't don't go with them. Like, and it's all about. Just like you started this podcast and stuff, like, dude, it's all about eventually just little by little seeing where it gets you. And then once you get that little inch, that almost like it takes a while before a plant can grow and get like totally fully sprouted.
Right.
But once you see that little leaf come up, bro, that's some motivation right there, dude. Like that come up through the soil, that little like addictive. First leaf. That's what I'm saying.
That's obsessive.
That is obsessive.
Like my favorite feeling in this world.
Exactly.
Accomplishment that builds off
it builds off itself.
Yeah, that's the greatest feeling.
It is, bro. But like a lot of times people, it takes a long time to even get to that point. But that's why it's about being still. If you just be like, I'm not going to give into that. I'm going to recognize that. not give in and give into like a positive thought because, and then instantly after just doing that, instantly just like thinking of that, you're like, I don't know, even me, like if I've had like, I don't know, a feeling where I'm like, somebody kind of, I try to control it, but they kind of piss me off or something. Not even because I want to be, nobody really wants to be pissed off. It doesn't make them feel good.
Right.
But like they piss me off objectively somehow or something. Not that I want to be like, I didn't want it to get me bad, but I didn't control my emotions. A lot of times, dude, like that itself, like if you were to control your emotions, like in that situation, you'd feel good after doing it. Or even if you don't, like there's been times where I've done something I thought I would,
if you didn't feel
I thought
good,
it'd be nice to do something nice to someone and, it didn't make me feel super good after. Well, I think if
what is there to learn there then?
That's a great question, dude, because that is the question in those situations we need to ask. Because our mind will usually give us an answer. I mean, or God and our interaction with the universe. Usually when you ask questions, you get some type of answer at least. Maybe not the exact one you're looking for. It's almost like if you're solving a math problem, there's a lot of steps in the equation. But usually, if somebody were to give you like a few of the steps, you could break it down from there in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what the questions are. It's like a different step.
Yeah, so when you ask questions, essentially, bro, you do usually get answers of some sort in your body. Dude, our mind's like a fucking search engine, bro. It really is crazy, dude. It really is. It really is something that is insane. I mean, you get answers that you put in at the level you put them in.
It really is interesting, yeah.
Our mind is like a Google, bro. Because, I mean, if you put in, like, just think of the word, like, really, like, sad. Like, the word sad. It resonates like a definition with you when you think about it. Like, you write, like, sad.
Maybe a particular experience or something like that, yeah.
Or, like, just think of sad in your brain. You're like, instantly, you kind of be like, okay, sad. That's, like, not feeling good, gloomy, anxiety. It's like a search engine, bro. Your brain right there just answered a question.
If you focus on that negative emotion or that positive emotion, and you really focus on it, like the feeling of sad, like,
yeah, dude.
So I guess you wouldn't even you would focus on the subjective feeling that it gives you when you think of that word. Do you think you can feel those emotions?
Dude, that's where like life gets really confusing at times, because it comes down to not being with your emotions at all times. I think at certain aspects in life, I think it comes down to not being to be able to think of things and look at them, but not be able to be with them. I think most people think, like, feeling wise, like they feel like if they think of something in their brain, it has to like have some type of feeling to them. Like if me and you were to think of something really sad happening, like really sad, like we were to like think of it a lot, like it eventually would have some type of like get a little sad, like in our body and stuff, bro. Like we wouldn't feel very good. And that I think that just shows you like that thought does have some type of influence on us if we let it. But if we learn to, maybe just view that from a safe distance, just to look at it but not have a feeling attributed with it, I think eventually your thoughts will start to change and they'll start to be more positive, but you can have a choice in what you give into. So you can have many thoughts, many types of thoughts, but give into the positive ones, and then they'll have more of an influence on you. So you
that's a real
let the bad ones blow in the wind.
Like realization, like we are everything. We're everything.
We are everything, dude. All in one, in different levels.
We're bad. We're good. Bro. We're evil, and we can choose that. We get to.
That's the
really
freedom.
Get to choose. Like I bet you've had an evil side of you that's come out.
Oh, bro, dude, I can do so much more with my life, dude. Like I can do so much more. Like in just terms of being a good person, dude. Like the fact that I've been talking, I can do so much more of the stuff I've been talking about, me and you have been talking about. Like, don't get me wrong, I need to do a lot more of that, like being a good human and stuff. But like, I still recognize it as true. Like, and I still try, and that's the part of the struggle, bro. Is like we are like, we are people who take blows, like take tons of hits, but spiritually, but we just keep being resilient, bro. And that's the thing. We're like. I don't know. I wouldn't use the term godlike. We're like insect-like, but we're also like I don't know, very angelic. The human.
What do you mean by angelic?
That was just the word I was using, bro. Because we're also like we can be very enlightened people as humans, very enlightened, but we also can be very animalistic in a sense. Like we can be whatever we choose to be.
Which is weird because like
it's so many.
I would argue
sides.
with the internet, it's really leading to more people being like I feel like this is the biggest age in like biggest gap in consciousness
dude.
at any point in time, because like so many people are so distracted, but simultaneously
me too, bro. I'm so distracted by so much shit.
True.
Like my phone, bro, like I'll be like wanting to do like so much shit, and then I'll go like look at YouTube videos, like not even YouTube videos sometimes that are like good for me. I watch a lot of those that are knowledgeable, but like some of them that are just so dumb.
Totally.
And I fall into that habit too, bro. Yeah.
But some of us are so informed at the same time, and some of us are so, I guess, distracted, entertained, whatever you want to call it, at the same time.
We're like uninformed, but also like ignorant. So like we I think don't understand. Some people don't even have information to go off of, and others have the information but just like choose not to give into it.
Absolutely.
And like sometimes both sides are equally as innocent, like. Because even if you know sometimes, like, it's still tough as a human. Even when you know, and you want to truly give into that, you're battling so many things that are also, like, trying to defeat you in that aspect. Like, trying to really consistently, I don't know, if you're addicted to, like, some type of drug, like, you're trying to get off it, that drug's still going to nag at you. But that's part of the process, is, like, learning to grow with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it will nag, yeah.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, like, even if you are trying to, even if you know the things that'll make you happy in life as being a good person, sometimes, like, people, they know it'll do that, but it's so hard for them to do it, you know? So, and then other people don't know any information, but, you know, I mean, they can't do anything off that if they don't know.
And we're always ignorant to our own ignorance.
Yeah. It's a mix of, it is, bro. Like,
because of how much you know, you never know how much you don't know, so why be cocky about what you do know?
Yeah, dude. It's all about the nose, bro. It's all about the nose.
It's all about what's between these eyes.
It really is, dude. I know, man. Yeah, we're like, we don't understand our lack of understanding. And sometimes, so.
We just went 2 hours.
Bro, well done, dog.
Do you want to call it quits soon?
I'm down, man.
Just because we agreed on like an hour?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm cool.
Well, for whatever, man.
Yeah, we went over, so it did.
Well done, bro.
Cool.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for having me on, bro. I appreciate that, dog.
Oh, yeah.
It's been fun, man. Yeah, dude, I didn't really even realize we were on that long, but I like doing this stuff. Like, this stuff really, like, I don't know, it makes me happy. I like this stuff, man.
I'm glad you came on, and I really do encourage you to, like,
thank you, man.
And the only reason I'm not trying to preach, I just know you've taken interest in it, and it's given me, like, profound benefits, like, benefits I just would never have anticipated.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's been like such a cool learning experience, and all the connections you form from it, and all the connections you strengthen, and I don't know, it's really awesome. And to be completely transparent too, if I had somebody to like kind of brand myself with, like if you were doing this at the same time, that we could cross promote and help each other out too. So there's a benefit for me as well, but that's not why I'm telling you to do this. I mean, it is a part of it.
No, I hear you out, man.
But like, just know that I have your best interest in mind,
thanks, buddy.
and I think that it would be an awesome thing for you. Because I think you're a good person. I think you're very well intentioned.
Oh, thanks.
And
you too,
with that being, thank you.
Hey, welcome,
with that being said, like carrying into the future, like it'd be like a positive. Like I think you could make something really awesome because you do hold really awesome intentions, in my opinion.
Thank you, buddy. You too, bro. Like, dude, just being on your show, bro, I've really learned a lot from you, and just being able to like talk on these subjects some more, bro. Because
vice versa.
Dude, I don't know. I'm not much of an expert in anything, but I'm still a human and I still live life, so we can all like, you know, look at things in a positive way in that light, but also in a powerful way where we can change the world just from like being in existence. So
True.
Yeah, man. So that's just,
and you can learn something from everybody.
From everyone, dude. That's that's actually something that is so awesome, dude. So yeah, but thanks for having me on, bro, dude. I definitely would like to have a podcast one of these days. So that'd be fun, man. So thank you, bro.
I'd encourage it. Cool.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thanks, gang.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro. You're the man.
Cool. Well,
right,
that concludes it. Any last words? Any last words?
Not really, gang. Y'all just have a good one, so that's all I got to really say.
Have a great one. I'll
have a grand one.
Collin.
A very swell one. Yeah.
So this is episode number 78. If you enjoyed this talk with Collin, we have episode number 40 together as well. So
yeah,
it's just all fun, all talking and stuff, you know?
Yeah, bro.
All right, cool. Deuces.
All right, later, gang.